Hello and welcome to Jurassic World Evolution 2. In today's video I am building the T-Rex Kingdom from Jurassic World. It is not an exact copy. It's very difficult to do an exact copy. So basically, when you look at the Jurassic World Kingdom on Jurassic World, on the T-Rex Kingdom, in Jurassic World, you will see two views. You have a bird's eye view that makes it look quite small. And then when you see the T-Rex feeding in the enclosure, there are trees as far as the eye can see. So that's a little bit difficult to replicate, but I did actually find a way, and I had an idea on how to replicate that without making it too big. So I had to make it big enough, and that was a little bit of the sort of intense part. I had to make it difficult, so I wanted to make it the same shape as the Jurassic World T-Rex Kingdom, and which I actually managed to do pretty well, if I say so myself. Don't want to blow my own horn or anything, but I did a pretty good job. So the way I sort of made that illusion of trees as far as I can see is I put two layers of trees, one in front of the first layer of the enclosure and one in between the first and second one. And that sort of gave you the illusion of trees for as far as the eye can see. As you can see, you can't actually see the concrete barrier behind them. Which actually led me to believe I had succeeded in that one. I think that's as close as you're ever going to get to creating a perfect sort of, you know, your own copy of the T-Rex Kingdom from Jurassic World. I think I did a pretty good job in sort of trying to make that as realistic as I could. But, you know, everyone's got their own little opinions on how they do these things, and everyone's got their own little ways of creating these paddocks. This is obviously my way. But if you do like this build so far, then and if you've already made it to this far, make sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I wanted to make this as sort of as good as I could, and I'm actually starting to lose words for what I'm about to say. As you can see, I put in 4 viewing galleries. I wanted to make sure the viewing galleries had a good view of the paddock itself, so I just cleared away from trees in front of it. And made sure that it was a clear view. And then once I did that, I started connecting the path around the enclosure. Now, I wanted to have the path the same shape as the enclosure itself. So first I started off by making one big square, and then I just shaped it sort of when the square was done. And that way it was a little bit easier for me to make sure that it was relatively the same shape, but as you will see in a bit, I didn't really get that far. So I wanted to get the pathway as close to the enclosure as I possibly could. So I did that first, and I created a nice 90-degree angle going right down to the center of it, meaning that I could make an almost identical shape to the enclosure itself. Now I think the pathwork is the bit that took me the longest. Which was rather annoying. As you can see back there, I did make a tiny mistake, as you can see. Now, you can't see it right now, but you will do in a minute. I did make a mistake. I didn't know that then. I sort of know that now. I just saw it. So again, I'm just doing the same thing for the pathwork on right next to the enclosure. Just making it, getting it as close to the fence as I could. Also, sort of mending some fences along the way because they weren't 100% straight. So I had to go back over there and just make them as straight as I could. But the ultimate goal here is to get the path as close to the fence as I possibly could, to make it almost the same shape. Sometimes that doesn't really happen so well. I don't think I've noticed yet that the path work on one side isn't complete, but I know I do in a minute. Don't know how long that's going to take, but you know. I think I do it when I do the last little bit. So I cleared off some sort of trees so I can do this. Connect everything together in one foul swoop. As you can see, I've just figured out that I didn't do it properly, so I've got to get rid of that and do that a bit quick. And just connect everything there. I wanted to make everything as symmetrical as I could, but as you can see, some sides are thicker than others. And that was purely my fault. But I'm going to go around now with some toilets and some other amenities such as drinks, food and shopping, just to make sure there's everything there that you need. I wanted to make this good for everyone, but I am now just realizing the one thing that I didn't add was emergency shelters, which I think I should have. There's plenty of space, but you know, that's me. That's me. but I wanted to make it as symmetrical as I possibly could. And once I added all the buildings, I started sort of filling in some of the path work and making it look as nice as I could. Now, I realise now them smaller bits there I could have done if I used the smaller bits of path, but you know, I didn't use that. I didn't think about these things before I even did this. That's my fault. Oh, I do apologize. I've got a really sore throat today. So this is something that I've been looking forward to for a while now, making my first video for the T-Rex Kingdom. And this is definitely the one that I wanted. I've always loved the T-Rex. And I wanted to do a build that I think was easy for everyone to do. And if you do think about using this in your build or in your park, please leave in the comments in the below. Just, you know, tell me that you used it. Tell me where you used it. Tell me what animal you put in there. Of course, it doesn't have to be the T-Rex. I mean, everyone's got their own little version of what they want to put in there. And now you can really see how the cemetery doesn't really get along, where some sides of the park, the enclosure, are sort of bigger than others or smaller than others. And that's a mistake that I didn't know I made then. But now I'm looking at it now, I can definitely see it, and it's really annoying. I am a perfectionist. But I didn't see that. That's one thing I didn't see, and now I'm mad at myself. I am mad at myself. I'm going over the rest of the park and doing all four sides one thing, because I'm leaving the other side because I had something special planned for that. I had something rather special planned for that, and you'll see what that is in a minute. And you'll see why that would come back to bite me in the ass. Literally. But I wanted to do this as well as I possibly could. This is the T-Rex Kingdom. I wanted to follow it as close as I can, without making any adjustments. Now, the outside bit is completely my own thoughts. This is what I did myself. And I rather liked it. I think it turned out really well. You see, once the path is done, it does look really nice. It does suit the enclosure. And I think doing this was completely my own sort of idea. And, you know, you can copy this if you want to. You can absolutely copy this. This is not copyrighted. You can absolutely copy this. You can tell me what you think of it. And if you have made it this far, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and tick that bell so you know every time a new video goes live. I don't know what that was. I don't know what live was. Don't ask me. I'm almost done with the four sides of the path work. Filling in the other side. I think this might actually be the last one. I think this is the last one. I can't tell. Yeah, it's the last one. Well, I thought it was the last one. But now I'm going to go ahead and do the other sides of the enclosure, where you're going to see I'm going to do something a little bit differently. As you can see, I'm now using the cheap path, and I'm making a nice shape to sort of almost copy the shape of each side of this. And you'll see why this came back to bite me in the ass. When you see some of the shorter sides of things, one of the smaller sides, you'll see that it just doesn't look right. Now, I had to eyeball the actual curvature and the angle of these paths, which was a bit of a nightmare because it didn't always come down to the right sort of angle. But you know, it took me a little bit of time, but I get there. This is the side that's a little bit pear-shaped. You can see that it doesn't quite fit the shape of the enclosure. You can see that one side is actually more of a 90 degrees than a 45, which is rather annoying. Now look at it. But the path work is very nice, and I think if you are going to do path work, save it for sandbox. Don't do it in challenge modes or chaos theory or campaign. I think for them kind of modes, just do a connect the dots. I think them games is just about getting a 5-star review. It's not about making your park look nice. So just save the connected dot lines and pathways for your challenge modes and your campaign modes. And when it comes to sandbox, you can let your creativity go wild, and you know, you can really do whatever it is that you want to do. You can make it as nice as you want. You can make it as boring as you want. It's completely up to you. But I strongly believe that no park is boring. I think that every park has their own little flair. And I think every single creator has their own little way of creating the park. And this is one of my ways of creating a park. Simple but elegant. That's what I think this is. I think this is simple but elegant. Leave a comment below if you think it is simple but elegant. I had no idea why I'm saying it like that. I just am. And I really am now starting to run out of words to say. I mean, what do you say while watching your own video? I'm trying to narrate as much as I can. But the thing is, I've told you everything I'm doing. You know what's happening, and you know what's happening. I don't know what's happening now. Well, I do. I've been there, but you know, I've got to wait now till this ends. What can we talk about? What are your plans today? Did you do anything exciting today? Let's talk about your plans today. Have you done anything exciting today? Leave a comment below of what you did today. If you want to tell me what you did today, or tell me if you did anything exciting today. It's always nice. Don't know why I'm saying that. I've got nothing else to say. Get quite bored. I mean, the pathwork did give me a bit of grief here and there, but you know, nothing you can't fix by a little bit of sheer persuasion. Sometimes brute force. Sometimes brute force is good. You do find this routine that you like. You get into this routine that just works, and you just stick with it, and yeah. I've got one more side to do, and then the pathwork is pretty much done, and I can get on with the enclosure and making that look relatively nice. There we go. Oh, we've got to do one more thing. That's the one I missed. I did miss that one. I don't know how I missed it. I just did. So now the pathwork is done, we're going to go into the enclosure and we're going to create a little bit of water there. A little bit of a weird shape, sort of a bendy bone. Add some rock on the outside of it. Add some sort of rocks in there as well. I think rocks make an enclosure look really nice. I need a burp. Don't know why. I think rocks can bring a lot to enclosure. Just make it look nice and unique, and make it look a little bit, just make it look like you've actually made an effort. I think that's what it does. I'm pretty sure that's the only thing it does. Just makes it look like you made an effort. I mean, leave a comment below. Do you actually put rocks in an enclosure or not? After that, I actually put some trees in there just to add a bit more sort of depth to it. Added some nice texture to the ground. Added in a feeder for the dino. Put it as close to the first gate as I could. As you probably noticed, that I have used invisible gates as the first sort of barrier. And you can sort of think of this as extra security if you want to. I wanted to add, not only did I want to add extra security, but I also wanted it to look as realistic as I could compared to the real Jurassic World. And I think I did a pretty good job actually. I did actually create the illusion of endless of trees. And now I'm adding in one more thing, which is the log viewing gallery. Took me a little bit of time to find the place to put it, but I got there eventually. And there we go. That is the finished park. If you can understand anything I said, leave a comment below. I do speak really fast, and I am really sorry for that. But guys, thank you so much for coming, and I will see you again soon. Ta-da.